So, I don't know how many people have seen this already, but recently, Rayman has been introduced into the crew. Now, if you don't know what the crew is, it's basically your standard racing game, similar to what you would see with stuff like Forza, and it was announced that Rayman would be in the game with his own custom kart as well. Now, originally, I was going to make an analysis video on it, but when you look back at the footage, there really isn't much to analyze. But some cool things of note would be that his racing car doesn't have the wheels attached to the actual car itself, so keeping it in character with the whole Rayman not having limbs thing, the car also doesn't have its wheels attached at all. Rayman being in this game is also pretty noticeable for the fact that this is the first time that he's been in any type of racing game in almost 20 years. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, there actually used to be this Rayman racing game called Rayman Kart that was released back in 2007, but it wasn't a full-fledged console game, it was only made for mobile phones at the time. And while I can't speak on the gameplay too much because, I haven't played it, when looking at the footage, it doesn't really seem like the most fun racing game to play, but at the very least it did have a pretty decent soundtrack. So yeah, Rayman being in a brand new racing setting is pretty cool, and I imagine they could actually pull off a Rayman racing game if they could. And while I imagine it wouldn't be anything too crazy, they do have enough characters to make a good roster. Plus, with the amount of locations that there are in the series, I think they would have enough to make a good amount of tracks for the game if it ever were to exist. But if they aren't able to do that, I think another good way they could introduce Rayman into the racing scene more is through crossovers. Now, The Crew is a good example of this, but there's another racing game out there that I think most of you know what I'm talking about would be the perfect fit for Rayman, and that would be Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. This would be the perfect game for him, as the entire gimmick, as most of you know, is crossing over to different worlds. And not only has this game introduced other platforming mascots like Pac-Man and Mega Man, but as some of you know, it was also announced that they were going to be doing a year 2 for the game. Now, we don't know what they're going to add to the year 2 stuff outside of Godzilla and Evangelion, but I feel like they're without a doubt going to introduce a couple more video game mascots, as Sonic is no stranger to doing collabs with other franchises. And with year 2 being announced around the same time as Legends Retold, part of me is hoping that maybe Ubisoft and Sega had something cooking in the background and we could see Rayman in the game. But if not, at the very least we do have The Crew, but also the modding community for CrossWorlds is really good, so I could imagine seeing somebody modding in his Retold model and his kart into this game, and that would be good enough for me. But with that, that's gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see y'all next time.